Black hoods, cops, and projects. Sewers flooded with foul blockage. The gutters wild and every child watches. Chains and top locks get ripped off hinges. Doors kicked off. Drunk stag off, smeared off. Wipe your bed off.
Roger Hodder. Okay, just so that you know, when I first come out here to Vancouver, it was 1979. So I fished out here for about 18 years. And within the last 3 years, I got wrapped up in the downtown east side, drugs, or whatever what you want to call it. It's like a big web, like it's on your computer or whatever. So once you get in, it's hard to get out. And most of my past experience coming from Newfoundland.
How did you get into the drugs?
Oh, that started when I was really young, about 16. Basically pot, and doing some pot and stuff, and the occasional rock once in a while, and heroin, I guess.
I came to Vancouver to look for work and to get a place to live, but I don't like it because there's too many cars around here and they're too dangerous. And so many people that I don't know.
Do drugs have any part to do with you being on the street?
I only smoke rock once in a while. I don't do any other drugs or drink.
What I would personally like to say is that living on the street is a very tough act, and a lot of people don't realize that. You know, they see us out there doing drugs, some by choice, some not by choice. I mean, I know people who are, forced into using drugs in order for prostitution reasons and stuff like that by their own families and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of horror stories out there.
Well, that people should spend more time writing, and maybe people should have more to do with an education. I'd like to open some kind of school for street people. Like I call them gypsy schools, which is just a funny name for a government school where they can go to the theater of the arts and stuff, and arts and crafts and writing and things, government grant proposals, and it's hard to open a school because you have to get a big location, and who's got the money except for a bank?
I would love myself personally to the young people. I mean, if you're anywhere from the age of 15 to even 19 or whatever, and you don't have an education, as we say in Newfoundland, wake up and smell the coffee. If you're young enough, go back to school, get your education, learn about computers, and basically just turn your life around. Don't let the downtown core, the drug scene wrap you up, right? And it's easy to get in and hard to get out. And that's the way it is.
I went to grade 10, and then I got on-the-job training in Kamloops for different jobs for a few months at a time. So I have on-the-job training at a whole bunch of different jobs in grade 10. But, because I want to leave town, but my social worker won't let me because I can't get in touch with my friends to let them know for them to talk to her on the phone, so she'll let me leave town. So I can't leave town until my social worker lets me.
Most of my past experience coming from Newfoundland, and I traveled most of my life, right? Since I was 13 years old. I come from a pretty good background. My family raised 17 kids, and I'm probably the second youngest of the generation. And for the last 6 months, I guess, I've been roaming around, surviving, trying to do everything I can down here. And it's kind of hard if you don't have a job, or if you don't have a high education or whatever. But I don't know. I was a commercial, I guess you can call me a professional deckhand, commercially. Salmon industry.
Were you doing good?
Oh yeah, quite well.
Like, what was your downfall?
Well, basically the downfall was the fishing itself. With all the seiners and draggers they had out there on the west coast, they wiped it out. And I mean, you got 760 draggers and 860 seiners for a coast that's probably 1,245 miles from one end of Alaska down to the Johnson Strait. And it doesn't take much. In Newfoundland, we only had 6 stern draggers, and plus all the other foreigners coming in and fishing our fish, right? That wiped out our stocks, right? And then the fishing died out, so I come over here and got on welfare, and that hit, miss, and back on the street, back on welfare, and things just change as it goes, right? Well, they will. I mean, it's like a hit and miss. You know, it depends what your circumstances are. You know. No, not really. No, they'll give you do get support. You know, it's like emergency or hardship support, right?
With our social system, why are there so many people in the street that provide enough money for housing and basic necessities?
Well, a lot of the guys are, as you're referring to, a lot of the kids, for instance, they either come from Ontario or back east, you know, Nova Scotia or Ontario, wherever. A lot of them are only, 17, 18, 19, or not even 19. So without their parents' consent, right, they don't get welfare. So they got to wait until they're 19 in order to get it, right? So. Well, they're there. A lot of guys just get fed up with the system itself. I mean, the money is there and the excesses are there for the people if they want to get it, right? But a lot of guys just, they're just tired of arguing with the welfare, and I guess that's the way it is.
The thing I want to ask you is, how did you end up on the street?
Basically, it was not a choice in the beginning. I refused to accept welfare as a way out, and I didn't collect that portion of the check. I was getting the money at first, and I was spending it other ways. I'm a drug addict, but I was spending it, when I share the money I got with other people that were on the street and stuff like that. And I wasn't using it for rent, but it was the summertime when it first started 2.5 years ago. So it was by a choice of my worker to investigate my situation, and I couldn't come up with the proper paperwork that he required. So he found out that I wasn't using the money for rent, and he cut that portion of the check off. And due to some problems I was having, I couldn't find a place to accept me, to rent to me. They were afraid that I was going to bring in drugs. They were afraid that I was going to bring in trouble because of my appearance. Basically I was judged, maybe wrongly, I would say, to a, high percentage anyway.
And, what was your childhood like growing up?
Well, I was adopted out. My mother had 5 children, and she gave us all up for adoption. I was physically and sexually abused for a number of years. I eventually turned to drugs and smoking cigarettes and stuff like that at 11 and 12 years old. I became a pretty good athlete and eventually joined the small gang in Toronto downtown area, which became one of the second largest gangs in Toronto at that time. And I became the second in command. And
You became what?
I became the second in command of the gang. And the reason being was because of my determination to overcome the abuse that I had. I wanted to show people, especially my peers, that I was somebody, because I used to think that they used to know what had happened to me, sexually, especially, because it was another male that would sexually abuse me. And I had a lot of confusion around my sexuality at that age. So it was tough. It took me a number of years to overcome that. And the abuse by my mother and father, physical abuse. I mean, I went through, I was hospitalized twice through physical abuse, and eventually taken and turned into a Crown Ward with Children's Aid at the age of 12. And I went through a number of foster homes and group homes totaling 35 institutions up till I was 18, at which time I entered into the prison system. I served my first sentence in prison at 17 and a half. I served it for a number of B&Es into people's homes, something that I don't do anymore, something that I wasn't proud of then. And that's the way my life has gone, in and out of the institutions most of my life. I had a job for a while. I did some work and stuff, you know, but it's been tough. I've had a tough childhood. I've had a tough life. It's not something that I recommend to anybody. I mean, if you can go straight and that, I mean, I'm college educated, and I got that in the penitentiary, and it was only through serving a penitentiary sentence that I was able to get a good education. Otherwise, I probably would never have got educated. You know, and the one thing that really bothers me about society is the way they judge us, you know. Yeah, we're bums, and yeah, we you know, maybe we're a little lazy in that we weren't taught the proper tools and stuff that a lot of middle class and upper class people were taught, you know. And you know, it's hard. I mean, I've never had anybody offer me a job. You know what I mean? Like, they say, why don't you get a job? Well, why don't you give me a chance to work, you know? Like, they see me and immediately, you know, we're full. Or I go into a hotel, I'll phone ahead of time and say, hey, do you got a place for rent? Yeah, we do. As soon as I get there, oh, we're full. You know, like, I'm judged immediately on my appearance, the way, you know, maybe I carry myself and that. But I mean, I've had to survive on the street for 37 years, right? You know, and it's tough, right? I mean, you know, the last 2.5 years homeless, and you know, I've been sleeping cold nights. I mean, sometimes without a blanket, sometimes without a jacket. I mean, you know, it's really not a way of life, but I've adapted, and I've survived, and that's about all I could say is I've survived. And I count my blessings, and I also want to thank the people in society who have helped me, who flipped me a toonie, who flipped me $5, some even $20. And I really appreciate that. It's really appreciated. It doesn't all go to drugs like you think. It goes to food, it goes to helping others who are sick. I mean, we do have hearts, we do care. I mean, I don't want you to think that your hard-earned money is being wasted on a drug addict and just being used for that reason, because it's not always true. Sometimes it is true, and that's unfortunate, but I mean, that's our way of life, and it's either, you know, we ask and get a little help here or there, or we go and get it ourselves. I just want to say for myself, I don't break into cars and I don't do B&Es. I will not do personal issues with people's houses and stuff like that. You know what I mean? If you own a store or something like that, well, it's open game, you're insured. I'm sorry, but I got to be honest. I just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to explain myself a little bit, and hopefully you people can understand that we are not alone out here, but on the other hand, the percentage of minority is very, very low of the people who are homeless, and we could use a little help, you know, from now and again, you know, and not be judged so harshly, you know, because we do have hearts and we do care, and I just want to say that for the people that I've met. There's some good people out here, man. All right.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Okay. Thank you, man.
No sweat.
All right.
Just want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to explain myself a little bit, and hopefully you people can understand that we are not alone out here, but on the other hand, the percentage of minority is very, very low of the people who are homeless, and we could use a little help, you know, from now and again, you know, and not be judged so harshly, you know, because we do have hearts and we do care, and I just want to say that for the people that I've met. There's some good people out here, man. All right? Thanks.
I know who you are. All right, man. Take care.
Take care. If you got any problems, you're on.
All right, man. You too.
As these words part with my tongue, I question why they sound